Morning. Why don't we all stand up? You know the old adage that the mind can only take what the backside can endure. And we've had the politicians, and this is the first time ever I've heard an Irish politician who did not start to speak as Gaeilge. So, Adinusla, Bwailam, a kainch as Gaeilge. And I know that all of you understand what I'm saying. So now you may sit down. The minister said that we were at the real home of GAA. How many of you are Irish? How many would like to be Irish? So all my life, I have dreamt of running out there in Croke Park. In 1957, a long time ago, my county, County Louth, the wee county, we won. And I wasn't standing outside here a few minutes ago having coffee with you. I had to go back and relive the glory. Now, frankly, the wee county has not had too much glory since. 1957 is a long, long time ago. But coming into Croke Park, you're coming in truly to the heart of Ireland. You're also coming into the heart of agriculture, because the players who will run out on that pitch are all amateurs. And mostly they're farmers. And so they understand what we're going to be talking about this morning. So welcome to Croke Park. And if there is to be a Hall of Fame, and I'd like to get all your votes, that there would be Gaelic football. I was a Gaelic football player, but there would be a player who want to run out there. Maybe you can vote for me. Don't need your money, just need your vote. So here we are this morning, and we're talking about aquaculture and the future of aquaculture. But in reality, we're talking about the future of food. And in reality, we're talking about the future of sustainable food. Mr. Chairman was kind enough to give a little bit of our background. My wife, for 45 years, grew up maybe 300 meters from here. So Dublin is our home, and Dublin is what we love. But you know, we're working and living in a strange world. And whether it be the tiny island of Ireland or the bigger island of Great Britain off the mainland of Europe, it is a world of openness. And what you do now can be around the world literally in seconds. But it's also a world of community. It's a world of connectivity. And it's a world of shifting populations. We're basically 4.5 million people on this island. And you put us against the rest of the world and so forth, we're tiny. So what's happening in this world of ours? What's happening that we have to be aware of? China, with the end of her one-child policy. Huge implications. India, soon to be the most populous country in the world. It hit 1.3, 1.4 billion people. Not China, India. We look at the decreasing birth rates around the world, for example, Japan and Europe. So these are the things that we find challenging, perhaps. And then we think of the EU crisis on migrants. 1 million migrants go into a country like Germany and changes the structure of Germany. Trump challenging. Just about everything with that powerful tweet. But he's challenging all these trade agreements we've got. And he talks about Rocket Man in North Korea. With global warming, we have water shortages, and we have a shortage of resources. Now, whether you like it or not, when you run out on this pitch, this field, you don't make the rules. The other team makes the rules, and these are the rules. And this is the world that we're living in. Yet, people still have to be fed. Despite all the doom and gloom, and I don't do doom and gloom, people need to be fed. And then we ask ourselves, how are they going to be fed? And we ask ourselves, what's the best protein to feed them? And what's the most efficient protein to feed them? And what's the best use of our resources? And we think of protein retention, energy retention, and we think of meat per 100 kilos. Poultry, pig, beef, 21 kilos per 100 kilos, 17, 4 to 10. It's not a pretty picture. It's certainly not a very efficient picture. And yet we drop in aquaculture, and what happens? We get 61 kilos. So the most efficient protein converter out there is aquaculture. And this is the game we're playing, and this is the game that we're occupying. And this is the game we don't need to screw up. So 61 kilos. So we're in the right business. We're absolutely in the right business. Aquaculture is growing. Is it growing where you think it's growing? Mostly it's not. It's growing in Southeast Asia. My son Mark has been in China now. We've been in China for 30 years. My son Mark has been in China for 5 years. And his discussions are all about sustainability. And his discussions with the Chinese government are all about sustainability. So if you're not operating in this 88.8, the triple eights, maybe we need to stop and think. And to operate in the triple eights, there's no point in visiting, no point in helicoptering in. You better be there. 74 million tons of aqua, captured fish, 94, and soon we'll bypass it. It's growing, but frankly, is it sustainable? Is it sustainable in this open world of ours? Is it sustainable in this world of constant analysis of what we do, where we do it, and how we do it? And there are problems out there. And that's the wonderful thing. Entrepreneurs love problems. And entrepreneurs don't run away from problems. Entrepreneurs embrace problems. DHA levels are falling. Fish mislabeled. I don't go to supermarkets very often, except when she who must be obeyed sends me to a supermarket. And she who must be obeyed, my wife of 45 years, sends me into the supermarket, and I don't know what I'm buying. Because so many of the fish are actually mislabeled. Safety of fish, plastic, dioxin, transparency, marketing. I mean, is it smoked Scottish salmon or Scottish salmon smoked? And the difference is $5 a kilo versus $15 a kilo. And you don't really know which one we're buying. Are we transparent? Is it really sea bass? I don't know. But the consumers are becoming more and more aware, much more aware than I am, of what they're really buying and what they wish to buy. Are we truthful? A very good friend of mine is a man called John Y. Brown. Some of you may remember John Y. Brown because he married Miss America. Some of you may remember him because he became the governor of Kentucky. Some of you may remember him because he created Kentucky Fried Chicken. And John Y. Brown always said, all I ever wanted in life was an unfair advantage. So ask yourself this morning, what is your unfair advantage? What is it that you've got that nobody else has? What is it that you've got that we can bring to a whole new level? Are you aware of it? Are you using it? Because if you're not, we cannot create a Kentucky Fried Chicken like John Y. Brown did. Here are I eat fish because I'm told to eat fish. I eat fish because it's supposedly good for you. I didn't know why it was good for you. It tastes good, and you eat it. I also eat fish because I'm Catholic, and in Ireland, and every Friday we had fish. But when you really peel back all of that, we were eating fish because of the health benefits. And we're eating fish perhaps because of this daily DHA intake. But are we truthful? 2006, 1 serving of fish. By the time we got over here to 2015, twice as much. In fact, at the rate it's going, I will have to grow gills. I'll have to eat so much fish to get my daily DHA. This is a disaster waiting to hit us. This is a bad story, and bad stories go everywhere, waiting to be told. And it doesn't need, of course, to be told. So have we missed the point? And if so, what can we do about it? Have we missed the point? Well, as we think about this point, we think of functional foods, yes, but it's way, way more than that. It's way, way more than that. It's understanding health. I'm a biochemist, and I love all this biochemistry stuff and what's going on. DHA, richest fat in our brain, DHA. We've had 265 young people do their master's or PhD with us. And that gave us what David Byrne, the ex-EU Commissioner for Food Safety, it gave us what he called primacy in science. And some of the work that he helped us instigate had to do with DHA. And so we fed our DHA to chickens, big deal. And everywhere fat goes, DHA, which is a lipid of fat, it goes. But then we took those eggs and we fed those eggs to us for 8 weeks. And this is what we got. Remember that, 8 weeks feeding the appropriate level of DHA. And what do you get? Look at the reaction time. Look at the reaction time. 486 milliseconds, 380. And you're driving along in your car, you want a really good reaction time. And that other car comes towards you. Now with DHA, we know we can get that. And it's this sort of work which is becoming more and more important. Why? Why is it that we have to consume so much fish to get the relevant amount of these precious fats? And the reason is that we've been driven by nutritionists and we've been driven by lowest cost formulators. We have not been driven by the marketplace. And we have to be driven by the marketplace because it's in the marketplace that we will survive. So the fish are changing. Problems, opportunities. Never waste the opportunity of a good crisis. So I tend to look at opportunities, not problems. So let's have a look. Pollution, efficiency, safer, transparent diseases. And these are the things I say to my scientists. These are the things we need to come up with solutions for, and they do. I'd love to bring you to our laboratory, not 15 miles from here in Dunboyne, small little village, small little town, and to see the sheer enthusiasm of these young scientists. When you get out of the way, Ronald Reagan said it best. He said, God save me from idiotic bosses. We don't have idiotic bosses. We have bosses who encourage our young people to get on with it. And they are getting on with it. Pollution, more efficiency, safer, transparent diseases. What we do as an entrepreneurial company, a private entrepreneurial company, we would never go public. How the heck would I ever go public? How would I have to report my stupidity every quarter? How would I have to tell them that I bribed my way? It was a hefty bribe to run out here on the pitch. And the band, you know, those guys who come in, they were there in front of me. I ran out there. Cost a lot of money. But it was worth it. So we won't go public. But what we will do is we look, we innovate, and we deliver. We look at the problem out there, these young people. We say, okay, what is the problem? It could be a problem with bananas. You know 1/3 of the cost of a banana? 1/3 of the cost of a banana goes into fungicides. And so we have a major project on that. We have projects on citrus greening. Do you know that there used to be 150 million cases of Florida oranges? And today there's 20. So these are problems or opportunities for us. We discover, we see, we innovate, we deliver. That's what we've been doing for 35 years. Solution to pollution. I've gone around the world and I've seen these wonderful systems, the RAS system, recycling. Now here's the problem with the RAS system. It's a biology problem. What are you going to do with the S, H, I, T? Because there's a bunch of it. And so your feed formulations have to be designed that way. But the RAS system is undoubtedly where we're going. And to that end, we have our own aquaculture center. George, you've been there, in Kentucky. And we have an aquaculture center with Kopens in Germany, actually in the Netherlands. So this land-based recirculation system, in my mind, is part of our future. How? This is Alltech Kopens. We've got 17 hectares of land, actually 17 hectares of water, all these ponds that we can do the RAS systems and develop our solutions there. This man said it best, Peter Drucker. He's unfortunately passed away. But Peter Drucker had what he called his 1-minute charge. His Druckerism, as it were. What he said was, for businesses to be successful, for institutes to be successful, for organizations to be successful, we have to have two things. We have to have marketing, and we have to have innovation. So marketing and innovation. So when we look at these opportunities, we think of innovation, we think of marketing. The gene chip. This is not genetic engineering to those journalists here. This is not genetic engineering to those people from the Tesco's and so forth. This is understanding what's happening at the gene level. August the 5th. For the first time, we took the genome for fish and the genome for salmon, and we put it on a gene chip. Never been done before. The beauty of this is that now we can say, if we feed this, we get this. Now I can have one fish and predict with absolute certainty what's going to happen with 10,000. Now I can take those pollutants and I can see, well, what are they doing at the most basic level of science? What are they doing at the gene level? So the breakthrough, now that we have the gene chip, the breakthrough, and we have incidentally, a whole institute in Lexington, Kentucky, devoted to this. So now we can measure how genes are nutritionally affected. Now we can say what genes are upregulated, what genes are downregulated. Let me do a big shift. This is the reason we're on phase 2 with the FDA and the impact of some of our components on Alzheimer's, all based on the gene chip. And that's the reason why, in fact, in about 6 months, we'll go on to phase 3. Now, most of you are younger than me. But let me tell you, DHA, some of the other components are so frightfully important. Sea lice. I believe we will conquer sea lice in 6 months. I believe we will conquer and eliminate sea lice in 6 months. And we'll do so because of what we've learned from the gene chip. Sea lice. $1 per kilo of salmon goes into the control of sea lice. And yet the science is there. The science is saying, why don't you use us? Why don't you embrace us? We have solutions. So novel nutrition treatments, our patents are in place, and we'll launch in January. Drucker. So what else would Drucker tell us? They say, build a premium brand. Build a premium brand. And we don't build a premium brand. One of our famous football players, he wasn't a GAA football player, was a man called Tony O'Reilly. He was a rugby player. And Tony O'Reilly created a brand, and that brand was called Kerry Gold. And that's a butter. Oh, come on, guys, it's a butter. A butter is a butter is a butter. They grow by 30% every year. It's almost twice the price of other butters because they have a story. So build a premium brand, a premium story. These are some of them that you'll see in Ireland. Guinness, of course, Kerry Gold, Ryanair. Some are good and some are bad. And I'm not about to say which is which. So question is, what about you? What about us? What's our brand? And how can we, in fact, create this brand? And to create this brand, we have to work together, and that's what Tony O'Reilly managed to do with Kerry Gold. He got the whole island, all the dairy farmers, to try and come under one umbrella. How can we market? How can we market a story? Marketing is about stories. Stories are what rivet people. Stories are what grab their attention. Stories are what are memorable. We started our story at $10,000. George was telling us all about that. And now we're proud to be a family business. We just hit $3 billion in sales, 100% private, And do you think we're having fun? Come on, do you think we're having fun? You better believe it. We're having fun. And we're as enthusiastic today as we were in 1980. Boots on the ground. The minister mentioned Origen Green. And that's a really smart program. You know why? Because it costs nothing. It taps into the enthusiasm of youth. So they have all these little champions. And they put these little champions into supermarkets. And these little champions, they'll say, hey, what's your name? Damien. Hey, are you going to have Kerrygold? And if not, why not? And for the most part, they're good looking. And so maybe you'll buy it. But these young people, making them your brand ambassadors works. You've got to be different. How do you do it? Partner with retailers. Don't run from retailers. Partner with them. Find out what they want. Tesco. There are 3 things that Tesco want. There are 3 product categories that they want. The first one, dairy. The second one is poultry, and the third one is bananas. And those are 3 things to get people into Tesco. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we said the third one was aqua? Wouldn't it be fantastic if they rated us like that? Origen Green. 10 young people, not 110. HQs, the largest food firms in the world. Talk about sustainability, Origen Green. Learn from others. Create experiences. Hopefully, you'll get to go and see my church. Hopefully, by tonight, I will have more disciples. I mean, guys, there's money in religion. Look at, what was it, Baker, was that his name? Tammy Baker? Whatever. Or was that the girl? There's money in religion. So my wife and I bought this church. And why do we buy it? Because 1.6 million people go to Guinness. And so, it doesn't do for us to be 7 miles from Guinness. We're 300 meters from Guinness. But you go to Guinness tonight, you're going to learn how to pull a pint. Give us a break. And they're going to put a little heart on it, or a shamrock. So we built, or we renovated a church. The church goes back to 1100. Depending on who you're talking to, there's anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000 people buried there. And some of you don't look so happy, and you don't look so healthy. But let me tell you, ni hao, I've got a spot for you. At no cost. Would everybody like to bury him tonight in our church? All in favor say aye. It's going to be a good funeral. But it's the story, guys. It's a question of the experience and bringing people to this church, where incidentally, after I bought it, I discovered my grandfather was buried there. After I bought it, I discovered 9 other relatives were buried there. After I bought it, I discovered where my brother got his name from, John Hubert Lyons, because it was John Hubert Lyons whose funeral I went to in 1948. It's a story, and people relate to the story. So make sure you go there. And if you want to make it an Irish wake, that's okay too. So the question really that I will leave you with is what fish and what quantities and how do we need to produce in 20 years? That's your question. Write it down, guys. That's your target. Write it down. If you write something down, you're 95% more likely to do it. Write it down. What are you going to do on Thursday, Friday morning? Every morning, and possibly tonight you can see it, we send something out to our almost 6,000 people. And it's called a 1-minute charge. And it's a motivational thing, but it's a challenge. What are you going to do today? So, George, what are we going to do? What do we need to do to produce these wonderful fish in 20 years' time. The technology is here. The gene chip is here. That is our unfair advantage, as John Brown would say. The story, replace fish oil, replace fish meal, and not a race to the bottom. Of course it has to be economic. Fix sea lice. Bring me your problems. Our young people would love to attack them. Be sustainable and minimize pollution. That's what this industry is all about. And we here in Ireland have an amazing opportunity. There's an old Irish song that says, "The sea, oh the sea, is grog rama cree, it's the love of my heart. Long may it roll between England and me." It's this sea and this water which gives us our opportunity. It's this water and how we use this water, 98% recycling that water with the RAS system, is what is going to make us the #1 protein producer in the world, the #1 sustainable protein producer in the world, and the #1 open protein. With the gene chip, ladies and gentlemen, and not just the gene chip, but the curiosity of young people, we can do anything. They say it's the opportunity of a lifetime. But you know what? Only in the lifetime of the opportunity. Any great idea, any brilliant idea has a lifespan of 48 hours. 48 hours. Unless you do something within 48 hours, it'll die and it'll wither. So what will you do Thursday morning? Ideas change everything. And this is the title of our Ideas Convention, which we hold in Kentucky every May. Ideas change everything. And that's, I think, what this event is all about. Let me say this. As an Irishman, to have the ability to speak to you in our home of Dublin is very special. And as you leave our home in Dublin, and as you go back home overseas, and you saw the people, where they come from, go away with 5 ideas. And revisit those 5 ideas every morning. And as you revisit those 5 ideas every morning, pull in your young people and shut up. And let them get on with it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's worked for us. It will continue to work for us. And we have immense fun doing it. Welcome to Ireland. Thank you.